Welcome back. You are listening to the Mario Mukunda Show on Salam Media. So we are continuing with the whole click saga, as it is. The EFF are at different malls and shopping centers, ensuring that clicks remains closed and sends their employees home. Many of the click stores have already been closed, and there aren't any employees there, and the EFF is hoping that this will continue for 5 days until there is action. Okay, joining me on the line right now is Zenzokuhle Imaan, who is an organic hair care brand owner, as well as Mamolefe Sehume, who is an activist, and they're just going to give us their thoughts regarding this whole issue. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to both of you.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right, I'm going to start first with Zenzokuhle Imaan, since you own an organic hair care brand. What were your thoughts when you saw the ad, which has been removed?
Thank you for having me, Miriam. Basically, I was not surprised. This is something that we live and see on a daily basis. So what Marvin Gaye says, he said, don't remove the kinks from your hair, remove them from your brain. And Paul Monet, he says that your hair is if your hair is relaxed, white people are relaxed, and if your hair is nappy, they are not happy. And it's unfortunate that we as black people, we don't have any common sense when it comes to our black hair. So we cannot rely on common sense for decision making. Since even the black people are the ones that are constantly changing their minds about what they want to do with their hair. Mm-hmm. You know, and our hair is an expression of our culture, and black hair is also as malleable and plastic as our ideas about it. Mm-hmm. So I was not as surprised, because I'm always reminded about it. Whenever I go to clicks, whenever I go to places where I see black organic products are there, that they always make us feel like, oh, there's something problem with our hair. There's nothing wrong with our hair. Mm-hmm. No, we need to learn. We need to learn our black history and identify our hair, that it is political. You know, your hairstyles, they could indicate a person's family background and tribe and social status. You know, so black people need to understand what is their hair, how to take care of their hair, what is it that they need to do to take care of their hair. Then things like the connotation that they use for our hair will slowly die off. So until we change our mind in terms of what we think of our hair, that our hair is damaged, it's fuzzy, it's dry, we need to be the ones starting to take care of our hair, not tame our hair, you know, and then things will get better. I'm very passionate when it comes to black hair and organic products and history. So I think we need to be the ones starting and changing the connotation that we have in terms of our hair, so that all this thing will die off.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to get back to you a little bit later, but I just want to find out from Mamolefe, who is an activist, what were your thoughts when you saw this? I mean, you have daughters, and if they had to see it and think about their own black hair as being frizzy and unhealthy and not what is the standard, what did you think?
Well, assalamu alaikum, and thanks for thinking that my voice is worth listening to. But yeah, well, when I heard this, like any other, you know, I rolled my eyes. Of course, the first reaction was to roll my eyes, and the reason wasn't in anger, much or anything. I think the first thing that I thought is, oh, there we go again in defining others instead. You know, people finding it fit to define others, whereas people should be looking at defining themselves. You know, I feel, you know, when institutions like Clicks or any other, or H&M historically, and others that have done this before, when they do this, it is called an oversight half the time. And when it's done by individuals, and then it is called out straight up racism. But I thought to myself in the first place, number one, am I really going to react to everyone who throws a stone at me when I'm looking at this vision of defining myself as a beautiful African Black woman? Or am I going to, just keep on walking? And yes, now and then you have to, take out the whip. I'm not saying ignore what's going on. You can't, because if you keep quiet, people then, unfortunately, people think things are okay and it's correct, and then it gets worse, But my first reaction wasn't really anger. It really wasn't anger. It was more a question to myself to say, have I done well enough to help equip my daughters, for example, or the daughters that I've adopted, for them to be proud enough to know who they are, their worth, such that they are not easily fazed by such adverts, such that they ask themselves whether they are worthy or they are not worthy, doubting yourself and your beauty. And I was pleased to be happy that actually, first of all, I've got locks underneath my scarf, which I'm very proud of. My kids have got locks, and that has become my crown, a crown on top of a crown. So it's both disappointment that a person's money isn't what's the words that they used? Black people's money is not caused and damaged when people buy a clicks. Black people buy clicks, but the hair is caused and damaged when you need to push a product. But I honestly am not fazed too much like I was before, because my focus is on defining who I am and owning who I am. And really, all this becomes a lot of noise. Though, again, I state they mustn't be left, to continue what they are doing. And what surprised me the most is when I was listening at an interview this morning on Power, it's that part of the team that chose that one was a Black person, the second one was a so-called colored person, and then the other one was a white person. So I just wonder what went on into people's heads, or did they think that it's really a drop in the ocean, it wouldn't have an impact? I have no clue. But yeah, it's really disappointing to see things like these reappear in our country now and then, and coming from the so-called big organizations,
Yeah, and it comes down to what Zenzokuhle mentioned earlier about us as Black women not knowing our hair. There's so much that we need to learn about our hair so that we can appreciate it a bit more. Now, still with you, Mamolefe, do you think what the EFF is doing is justifiable?
Do what? To close the click shops, and you know what, I think I've learned through the Black Lives Matter and the history of, this racialism, racism, and all these other isms. I've sort of come to not to react immediately, especially according to the masses, where you will immediately condemn. When I'm going to go back to Black Lives. And will fine and dictate to African governments how they should react to address their pain and their whatnot. There are certain things that we may not understand. It's similar to someone chooses to toy, go to the union building in this heat and saying with placards, we do not want this anymore. Somebody else will choose to boy 70s. And then you find EFF that, they have their own way also of so-called toying. But I really don't know how organizations, people, keep that protected.
All right, Mamolefe, I'm losing you a bit there. Zenzokuhle Imaan, I'd like to know from you, as an organic hair care brand owner, Well, majority of these hair care brands that are sold in Clicks are not Black owned. What are your thoughts on that?
They're not as, I didn't hear that.
Majority of these products that are sold to Black women are not Black owned. And yet here you are, and we don't find your products in Clicks.
Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. Business is business. Like Shea Moisture, I know that it was started by the son and a mother, and after a while, they sold it to, I'm not sure, but I think it was Unilever. That we cannot change. They are not white owned because of, they are not Black owned because of how perhaps the intention of the person who started the business. That is one of the, if you can, we do understand that the economy is owned by who. But now the issue is, if we as Black people do not wake up and own what is ours and just try and be patient and just be proud of what we have, and what we possess, and just never mind. You can still sell your products even if they are not from that, they are not in Clicks. Create yourself platforms. Create yourself platforms where people can buy your products and get your products. When you put a value into something, in terms of monetary value, you will not see a lot of success because you will sell it to the highest bidder. We need to put passion in our businesses so that we know that we are living this thing for our offspring. So I cannot argue and say no, they're not right owned, it's wrong, it's right. It has nothing to do with me. But I would love to see a lot of Black businesses not selling their products when they make money. Leave a legacy. Leave a legacy for your offspring. Leave a legacy for Black people, for your community. Just like making an example, even if it's just far-fetched, like Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry owns his own studio, and he has never sold it to any big white entertainment companies. Those are the people that we need to inspire in becoming and leave a legacy. So in terms of all those organic products are owned by white people and all that, unfortunately, it is what it is. There's nothing to do about that.
All right. And moving forward, what do you think Clicks needs to do to how can I say, to rather ease the tensions and to ease the situation?
I think the damage has been done already. What can Clicks do? And Clicks is a typical big organization where the racism is there. We know about it. So it shouldn't be a surprise. But what can it do? It can just be, I don't know what can Clicks do because the damage is done. But unfortunately, people will still go and buy there because they don't have other venues.
Imaan, I'm losing you there. I think I've lost you. But Mamolefe, if you are on the line, what are your thoughts? What should Clicks do? Mamolefe is also not on the line. I think I've lost them both. But anyways, Pumelele says we need longer lasting, effective ways of changing things than reactive protesting. So less protesting and more action that needs to be done. Mamolefe, moving forward, what should Clicks do?
Clicks?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I think they say there's no consciousness without awareness. So first of all, the question for me is, do they realize whether this is wrong or not? That's number one. Starting with, I had a whole lot of stories about where it comes from. It doesn't come from Clicks and 1, 2, 3, 4. But first of all, do they see anything wrong with it? That's number one. Two, are they empathetic enough to realize the damage it's doing to some of the kids, for example, who are trying to find themselves in the midst of the confusion of social media, Instagram, and how to look and how not to look. So I would say, with anything and everything, there should be consequence management, honestly. It's all good and well to say, yes, we apologize and whatnot, but, when something goes wrong, someone needs to take accountability, and consequence management for me, it's one way that kids can sort of, it won't correct it, but that will be them saying that we take, accountability for what is done, and we realize the damage that has been done. And also for them to claim that, it comes from Unilever and whatnot. Oksalayo, who approves all these things? For everything in a company, there's process, there's due process. So somebody approved it. Who approved it? And all that, following that line of process, then I believe there needs to be some sort of consequence management. And they need to apologize properly, not the scanty work that they have done. What I've seen, being shared on social media, I don't understand what that thing is. My grade 2 class learner could have written that thing. I don't think it's empathetic enough. I don't think it takes accountability enough. And I don't think anyone who has been dented by this would actually accept that kind of apology. But also, I'm saying to Black people, know who you are, and know who you are, and teach your kids that they are worthy. Teach our kids, teach our kids not to be defined by other people, but at the same time, they must also stand up where they see that they are not being treated as equally as everyone else. But define yourself, define yourself for the kings and queens that you are.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, both of you. And we'll catch up as this is a developing story. And have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.
Right, so that was Zenzokuhle Imaan Kaba, who is an organic hair care brand owner, as well as Mamolefe Sehume, who is an activist. Both of them are sharing their thoughts regarding this entire Click saga. And like I said, this is a developing story, so we will continue with this in days to come as the EFF continues with the protest as well. And like Zenzokuhle mentioned earlier, if it's relaxed, they are relaxed. If it's nappy, they are not happy. Just stay with us. We will be right back after the break.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam